First of all, thank you all for coming up. I'm just going to read some comments on ride-hailing, and then I'll open it up to any questions that you may have. We are a little limited for time, but I'll try to answer all your questions afterwards. We have a council meeting that starts pretty soon, so. Well, ride-hailing companies have been approved to operate in Metro Vancouver by the Passenger Transportation Board. The fact is, a business license is required for companies to operate in Surrey or any other municipality in the Lower Mainland. In Vancouver, licenses for ride-hailing have been issued, but in Surrey, like the majority of cities in Metro, they have not. Until that happens, Uber is operating illegally in Surrey. On Friday, Uber was notified by the city to stop operations within Surrey boundaries until council has taken a position on how it wishes to deal with ride-hailing business licenses. We gave Uber a grace period over the weekend by issuing warning tickets for non-compliance. I felt that was only fair to give them an opportunity to comply. I have heard some individual drivers have chosen to do so. For those who continue to operate in Surrey, there will no longer be warning tickets, and any violators caught will be ticketed and face a fine of $500. My position has been clear during the election period, after the election period, and has been consistent with my thoughts now. And I want to state it very clearly, is I support ride-hailing. I have said that from day one. I support ride-hailing. And I can say the majority of council supports ride-hailing. But it has to be on a level playing field with the taxi industry. I have heard some opponents say that I am pandering to the taxi industry. That is not true. What I am concerned about and what I am fighting for is the livelihoods of all of those who are employed in the taxi industry, be it a driver, a dispatcher, or a fleet manager. While taxis operate throughout Metro, a large number of those who work in the taxi industry call Surrey home. I can tell you it is not an insignificant number, as some have said. A lot of the taxi industry throughout Metro live in Surrey. In Surrey, a large number of our residents work in the taxi industry, and their paychecks go directly to support their families. That is why I am making the case to protect the livelihood of so many Surrey residents. And any mayor across Canada, if a predator comes in an industry that's highly regulated and doesn't do a level playing field and ignores a lot of the laws of those cities, you would expect any mayor to stand up for their residents because they are going to lose their jobs because of that. And that's what I am doing at this stage. As I have said, I support ride-hailing, but it's got to be on a level playing field. And let me give you some examples where it's not on a level playing field. The taxi industry faces a cap of 2,500 cabs in Metro Vancouver. Uber or the other ride-hailing do not face any caps. That's not fair. When I was mayor before, for many years, over 10 years, each year we asked to have more taxis in the city of Surrey. And the governments at the time always refused us because we were at the cap. They wouldn't allow us to have more, even though Surrey is growing so fast. Uber comes in and there's no level playing field. They can have as many cars as they want. Insurance, taxi cabs, and these are approximate numbers, taxi cabs pay roughly $27,000 in extra insurance. Uber and the other ride-hailing pay $100 more to be one of their things. That's not fair. That's not fair what the government has done to allow that to happen. The taxi industry has to have wheelchair accessibility and pick up people with disabilities. Uber doesn't have to, and have already indicated they won't be picking up any of these disability people that need to have a taxi. That's not fair either. City fees are being worked out, but some of the suggestions or fees are not fair either. For example, a taxi in Surrey pays $400 per car, $445. There's talk that Uber will be only paying $150. They should be equal. Also, the age of the taxi. Surrey limits the age because of safety. We want good taxis on the road of 7 years. Uber, or the government's giving Uber 10 years to do it. Those are only, I can give another example, is our taxis have cameras in it for safety reasons again. Uber doesn't have to have cameras in it. So as it stands now, ride-hailing in a regulated industry has a very unfair advantage. Government has a role to play, and I would argue has the responsibility to ensure that there is fair competition between the taxi service industry and the ride-hailing components. I look forward to hearing about how the region will work with the province to ensure there is fair competition in the marketplace between ride-hailing companies and the taxi industry. So I will now open it to questions. Please don't shout all at once. I'll try to answer all your questions on it. So go ahead, somebody. I can't see anybody anyway, so yes.
Since you say you're in favor of ride-hailing, do you plan to bring a motion or notice of motion to council tonight in regards to it?
No, there will be, there might be a notice of motion. I don't intend to bring one forward, no.
What kind of license would you require these companies to have? Would it be, say, a non-resident business license or an intermunicipal one?
It'll be exactly the same that taxis need to have. I can also answer on fees. There's been questions whether we would put big fees or not. We will not. We will put only the same fees from the city as the taxi industry has to pay as far as fees are concerned.
Do you know what kind of license they're actually required to have, though?
I don't know the exact category at this stage. Anybody else? Yes? No, well, just before, take turn, yeah.
The province says no municipality has the authority to block ride-hailing. The absence of a business license is not grounds for refusal. The province says you cannot do what you are doing. What is your response?
Well, I think on that note, I think it has been indicated by the transportation thing that they do need to have a city licenses in all cases. That's why Vancouver has issued one. There's probably a couple others that have issued before they start. And so maybe the Transportation Authority Board has more authority actually than the government. I don't think they do, but it was their request that they need to get a business license in the cities where they operate. Yes?
The ride-hailing companies are politely trying to cease their operations here in the city, and they are happy to pay the fine will be imposed $500.
Well, if they are, that's fine. I mean, what we have to do when any company in Surrey, it could be a retail store, it could be a commercial store, if they refuse to have a business license, we shut them down. In the development industry in Surrey, if they don't have the proper development and the permits in the development, we put a stop work order on it. We do this every single day in Surrey because every business that operates in Surrey needs to have a business license.
But if they're a license, they can actually apply for it? Like, isn't that the problem? There is no license they can apply for.
Well, as far as the city, there is different categories that they can apply. For example, they can apply for the same license that taxis apply for. So there is the option to do that. Yes? Yes, once we, there's a couple of meetings that we have to go through first because And the one is very important on this Thursday, which is TransLink, where the region is trying to work together. And we're working, our staff are working, and I'm personally working in the region to have a common business license and fees and so forth. And that report is coming down in TransLink's meeting on Thursday. And so we need to wait till that. Also, our council has not had the opportunity at this stage to put their thoughts forward in a council meeting, but that will be coming to council, and we have to wait for council to make the decision. That will be coming to council, not tonight, but the next council meeting that we have.
How has council not had the opportunity when ride-hailing has been coming for months or even years? Vancouver managed to do it, Richmond, Tri-Cities, everybody else got their ducks in a row.
Well, as far as we're concerned, it has not, and we did not have any notice that very quickly that they were going to be given their licenses by the Transportation Board. And, you know, we've talked to other mayors and so forth, and one of the reasons our council has not had a look at it is we're part of the region, and we've said we want to work with the region for a common denominator as far as fees are concerned. So that's what we're waiting for. Again, I said the report from the region is probably going to come down at our TransLink meeting on Thursday. Now, just to say, please, one at a time. Yes. Well, because they don't have a business license. And in other cities have indicated that they don't have a business license also. And so you need to have a business license in any city, at least in BC and probably in Canada, to do any operation. And so at this stage, they only have a business license from, the best I know is 3 cities. So.
With respect, other cities are not ticketing or threatening to run if you are out of town, and you are.
No, we're not. I support ride hailing. I've said that from day one. I said it in the campaign. All we're saying is they need to have a level playing field.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
some councillors are saying that you are wasting taxpayers' money. You are wasting the time of bylaw officers by sending them to stop Google. What do you have to say?
Well, our bylaw officers go out and protect our laws of our city. That's their job. When any business is defined that and not having a business license, you do not want any city, any business in any city define the law. We need to do that, because if we don't do that, then we'll have all sorts of businesses in Surrey opening without a business license. So we have to, as a city, enforce our bylaws. That's what bylaw officers do in our city. And so for anyone to suggest that we shouldn't be is actually encouraging breaking the law in Surrey.
At the last mayor's council, you said that, in how many days?
Pardon, sorry?
How many citations were given out? How many bylaw officers were dedicated to this? How many days?
18 were given out. I don't know the number of officers. There was just a team that put together, a fairly small team. And it started on Saturday, so it's been 2 days.
At the last
Just so you know, today they're not issuing any tickets. So. 18 warnings.
At the last mayor's council,
There's been no fines outside of Uber itself has been fined as a corporation.
and then what was your fine for each citation then?
Pardon?
How much was your fine for each citation?
500 a day, 500 a day. Yeah.
You ready to take them to court, or?
Well, we haven't come to that. We're actually working. I just talked to the minister. I think this whole industry and so forth has been brought out wrong. And I encouraged her to let's sit down and try to work this out so that we don't end up. There's 2 very large court cases that have been, one's announced today by the taxi industry, and one is by a very large union. I don't like to see this type of thing rolled out in our region with a whole bunch of court cases. From cities of Surrey's point of view, we will not be doing any court challenges of it, but we will defend our right to make sure that in a highly regulated industry, that the people that are involved, the corporations that are involved, are given the same level playing field. So I'm going to end it at that because I do need to get to council. Thank you very, very much all for coming out. I really do appreciate it. So thank you.
Could you just clarify the cost, the total cost of the fine issued to Uber?
I can't, sorry. I don't know what
It's
you mean total.
$500 times 18, is that what it is? Is it $500
No,
per
we
citation?
didn't, we only gave out warning tickets to all the rest.
No, I know, but the fine that was issued to Uber specifically.
It's 500 a day, it's for 2 days, so it's
Okay, it's per day, okay, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.